Welcome, everybody. Yeah, you see that sign that says Glacier Gamble? Welcome to the episode of this week of this show. And we're going to talk about basically what's hot in
What's
superhero stuff.
hot? Yeah, good lighting today. Yeah, really good lighting.
Yeah,
today.
it's golden hour, baby.
Golden shower? Is that?
Yeah,
what you
that's
said?
after golden hour, which is actually how you get golden eye. Anyway, welcome everybody. Yes, this is going to be what's hot in superheroes, which is last week we talked about Secret Invasion. The day after we talked about Secret Invasion, the Secret Invasion trailer dropped. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Blue Beetle, and we're going to talk about Across the Spider-Verse. That's the one. First, we're going to start with Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle trailer came out, and a lot of people, the first things I saw about it was this is already better than anything Marvel's ever put out, and I was like, okay, you knew it was coming. Yeah, so
let's hit the brakes here a little bit.
But this is the first DCU movie.
DCU, yeah.
This is our first introduction of that universe.
I believe this one will do better than Shazam. A lot of people, Shazam was basically in theater for like 20 days.
Yep, and it's already available
and
on
it's
digital.
going to digital like the 9th or something.
7th. As of recording, that's tomorrow.
Right, so
less than a month after its theater release.
Here's the thing. I think Shazam 2, Aquaman 2 will have no, like, the box offices are just gonna be like, because it has no ties to the DCU. There's no point in seeing that. We talked about that on the past episode. Like, there's no point in seeing those movies,
right? Because
they have no reason. And so, but the Flash should do pretty good because it may have DCU implications. There we go.
I can't believe how bad the Shazam looks going. Like, first Zachary Levi just outs that DC and The Rock and all that was all the stuff that was going on there.
Right.
After it flops, the creator said, I don't care, I already got paid, so it doesn't, I literally doesn't matter to me. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And now it's going just immediately to digital, like whatever. They saw what happened with Batgirl.
Right.
They were like, oh, I guess people would rather us just release it even though if they know we don't care about it. Right. And then they released it like what fans asked for, and then it was just crap because they treated it like crap.
So now you've got the old DCEU falling off a cliff.
Yep.
The Flash, which may be DCEU to DCU from one world to the next, it may hit both because of the multiverse thing. And then you got Blue Beetle starting us off. I think it looks fun. It looks really fun. When they debuted the suit, everyone was like, "This looks badass." Like, a lot of people don't know a lot about Blue Beetle, which I'm one of those people. But I'm gonna be seeing it. We'll give you all the content in regards to superheroes.
It already looks cool. So they mentioned Batman. They acknowledge that Batman exists.
Right.
So we know there is going to be a Batman in this universe.
Which should be the DCU Batman. They haven't gotten to that point yet. They haven't really announced anything about the DCU, but Blue Beetle is a DCU project. Yeah. And this was kind of created in like the limbo stage between the DCEU and the DCU. So they got to put their fingerprints on it and make it part of this next world. So Blue Beetle's already being compared to Marvel with those people talking about it. Oh, this is already better than whatever. Let's actually compare him to Marvel then. Blue Beetle has a suit, takes over. Obviously, suit is it looks like nanotech.
Because calls him a host.
Sure.
So it's living in him. Otherwise, it's just a super suit that's supposed to protect him at all costs. Would you say the comparison would be Iron Man, or do you think the better comparison would be something like Vision?
I think it's got a little bit of Iron Man. It's got a little bit of Iron Man. It's got a little bit of Cable because it looks kind of like a techno virus kind of thing, if you want to compare it like that. And like Venom because it looks kind of like, it takes him over host-wise, like symbiotic. So if you compare all three of those and then like put Peter Parker in a suit.
Well, look at Peter Parker's spider suit that he has.
Right, exactly. It looks, the Iron Spider.
And they're nanobots on his.
Right, you're right. I'm kind of comparing it as a mix of things. I am very excited for it because I want DCU content. I want that world to.
I think Venom is a good comparison because it looks like it said in the trailer, the suit will protect him at all costs and will do things even if he doesn't want it to do it. And I think Venom's the same. Like, Venom has control especially during the first movie, like Venom does what Venom wants,
Right.
and Eddie has to try to fight it or go with it. I think Venom is a good comparison. When you compare it that way, I would not be. That's more Sony, but that is, I think, a good expectation is the Venom movies. Like, if it does better, if it performs better in the box office than the Venom movies, I think that is a great sign for the future of DC. Like, how confident they would be somewhere between a Marvel Cinematic Universe and a Sony Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. I think their goal should be beat out a movie like Venom and hopefully obviously get more than that. But I think setting that bar at Venom is a good bar to set.
Yeah, I think Venom made what, like opening weekend was like 80. I'm spitballing because I think I remember it's like 80 something.
Is that like Venom 2 or Venom 1?
Venom 1, I want to say, it made like 80 something. Shazam made like $120. I think it'll do better from a box office standpoint than Shazam did. And I think it's going to do better than Aquaman. I think it's going to be better than Aquaman. The only one I think that could push it would be The Flash, but
The Flash should be, like, when The Flash comes out, it should be DC's most.
And Keaton's in it too, so they both look good. I'm excited for the future of the DCU. I'm also ready to leave the DCEU in the dust. Like, I'm probably with the entire world when like, I haven't seen Shazam, but like, if I can watch it on HBO, I'll be like, oh yeah, I got 2 hours to kill. I mean, so.
Yeah, kind of like how when Morbius got all those bad, like, people talking crap about it when it came out. People were like, I guess I'll spend some time to see it. Like, Shazam 2 flopped so bad, people are like, oh, if it's out already, I guess I'll see it. Why not?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think overall I like the concept of him not having control. I really like Venom, so no surprise there.
It looks fun. And because his suit looks so colorful, I think it's going to, like, the visuals are going to look really good.
I think the key is that it looks fun but not campy. Like, people are kind of sick of it. Honestly, unfortunately, I think people are sick of Taika Waititi style, where it's you almost are making a movie as if you don't care about it. It feels where it feels like you're just kind of making fun of yourself and not even taking yourself seriously, and doing that taking away people's enjoyment. And I think people are looking for more, like James Gunn said, deep story-based writing. And so far from the trailer, obviously they're not giving away too much, but already explaining the fact that it's not in his control piques your interest. Already bringing in the fact that it's technology that he was not supposed to have when he was like they already set up the story that you want to see and like, that's only in a couple minute trailer. Like, imagine how well developed of a story they're going to give us in 2 hours. Sure.
And they didn't really reveal a villain.
No.
Right? Like, they kind of revealed a villainous corporation that wants the Blue Beetle technology.
That was the Susan Sarandon character.
Sure. And then you also get, like, he is a young guy. He's a young adult, right? So, like, they're like, I can create anything you want. And he creates the big ass, like, anime sword.
Yeah.
Like, so, like, you get a little bit of, you get the character in the hero, if that makes sense. So, like, they do, like, Marvel, to compare it to Marvel again, they do a good job with Spider-Man. You get a lot of Spider-Man. You get a lot of Peter Parker. I have no idea who that is. In Spider-Man. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. You get a lot of Eddie Brock with Venom. You get a lot of Venom's backstory with Venom. I think that's going to be a big comparison we see a lot, just because it's such a similar concept in, like, just with one's alien technology and the other's alien bio.
Yeah, sure. One also little tidbit while we're still on DCU. James Gunn did say that he does at some point think that there could be a DCU and MCU crossover at some point.
He said, never count it out, which I think that's obviously, if you have them working together.
I mean, that's like, if it's like, it'd have to be working together, because if it's like against each other, like, Justice League clears in like 10 minutes tops. So
well, I mean, Darkseid's strong enough where it would take Marvel and DC to take him out anyway. If you're going Darkseid based on the comics, like, Darkseid should be big enough. You could probably have Darkseid and Galactus team up and fight I don't know who you would have at next side, because DC is always this way, where there is no comparison to Darkseid because Darkseid's too strong compared to
Right.
Marvel.
You can beat him once, but you can't beat him that same way the second time.
But yeah, so yeah, leaving the door open, I think, to say anything else, even if they have zero plans to work together, saying anything else would have been dumb.
Right.
You don't want to burn a bridge that doesn't exist yet.
Right.
Sticking with, like we talked about, Marvel, Sony, sticking with. Oh, it's you like Miles too, huh?
Yeah.
Miles Morales, Across the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man, Mayday, Gwen, all these people coming in, and we got to see the trailer for Across the Spider-Verse, official trailer number 2.
Yeah. Spider-Man 2099.
Spider-Man, a lot more into Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah.
And they make fun of Doctor Strange.
They call out our MCU. So a lot of people are like upset because the 838 universe called us Earth 616.
Yeah.
Technically, Earth 616 is the Marvel comic universe.
Right.
So Earth 19, and Aman Vellani also called out Marvel on their bullshit and was like, it's not like Earth 616, like it can't be that because that is the comic universe. So yeah. I'm gonna go with Earth 1999. I don't know however
1999999.
Yeah, 199999. There's 5 nines. 1999. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with that. And so Doctor Strange was, doing a spell, Peter Parker, and it would have brought, because Spider-Man 2099 knows Peter Parker's from around his web cluster and whatever.
Side note, I'm so glad you didn't say Broughton. Keep going.
He would have brought in. What did I say?
You said brought. Correct.
Okay, yeah.
But like Broughton's just one of those ones that when I hear it, I'm like, so I'm glad you didn't say
it's just
it.
I'm trying to just be very specific, So no, he was very specific in mentioning Doctor Strange and the nerd from Earth 1999.
That's referring to us.
Referring to us. He would have eventually brought in Spider-Man 2099 into the massive incursion from all the other worlds or whatever. So,
and it's all the Spider-Men working against Miles.
Yeah.
Because they want him to sacrifice something, but we don't know what that is.
Don't know what that is because all Spider-Men have to sacrifice something.
But
apparently.
we know even the Peter that was his mentor, we know that even that Peter knew about it from the trailer.
Right.
So it's something serious enough where even that Peter would work against him.
Yeah, and he already lost
because of the cliff, it looks like Gwen might even know about it.
Yeah, and Gwen lost her Peter, but he lost Prowler, he lost Aaron Davis already. So I think they mentioned something along that, hasn't he lost enough or something along those lines.
Right.
But by the way, every Sony property spinoff based off Peter Parker has tied themselves to the MCU in some way, shape, or form. Every single one.
Good.
So Venom eventually came into No Way Home. Mm-hmm. Right? Vulture went into Morbius, and then Oscar Isaac's Spider-Man 2099 referenced MCU
Doctor
from No
Strange.
Way Home. So
that means when you watch Spider-Woman and Silk, expect
and Madam Web.
That's what I meant, was Madam Web.
Yeah, yep, right.
Yeah,
so
just expect MCU references.
They'll tie it some way, shape, or form. So they're like, you gotta come see this. You gotta come see it.
I like the
the visuals looked really good. You're gonna meet a lot of new Spider people. Spider-Punk was in there. So that'll be cool. I hope there's some reference. You gotta see a lot of the different villains throughout the you gotta see Prowler, you gotta see Kingpin. There was the Frankenstein looking dude.
Right, but this time it seems like, mainly it's going to be just all the Spider-Men.
Right, yeah. So we'll see some new ones. I'm sure we'll see some old ones from the first one trying to help.
Yeah, probably. Spider-Man Noir is confirmed not coming back.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, I think my initial judgments while watching the trailer were, it looks like it's going to be good. Right now, my expectations are less than the first one. It doesn't look like it's going to be as good as the first one. Obviously, we can't make that assessment yet. But right now, my initial expectation is that, just because I don't think it looks fantastic.
Sure.
I think it looks like it's going to be a good story, but it looks like it's a typical second movie to me.
Yeah.
Where
no, I 100% agree with you. I think it looks. The first one was so like it was animated, but it was so entertaining for most people, and like the art design is super unique, and so like you can't get that same experience again like for the first time.
Right, and this one's gonna focus on him and Gwen. It's gonna focus on him like being a teenager because they talked about his schooling.
Right.
So it's gonna do some of the stuff like this character building that's usually necessary for a character that you kind of just have to get through. And a lot of second movies unfortunately fall under that. We have to put those things in the second movie. And I think that's what's happening here is we're gonna see a lot of that stuff that we want to see. Where like him and Gwen, we want to see that develop.
Right.
But it's really not that entertaining to watch.
Right.
So they're gonna have to find ways to make it entertaining, or it's gonna still be a great movie with great animation, good writing, and probably good humor. But it's still most likely not going to meet that first one just because it's hard to.
Right.
And then the third one is probably going to be better than the second one. It's just how it tends to be.
Yeah, right. Where he realizes that there are other Miles Morales throughout the world, and then eventually he comes in contact with the MCU Miles Morales, and then that ties it right into the MCU because that's what Sony does. So
yeah. So that's my expectation for it. We have one last Marvel topic, which is we talked about Secret Invasion last week, so this won't be like the same topic. We don't want to just rehash, but the trailer came out, and so now we kind of want to talk about it. I think they did not give away a lot.
Right. Gave away a couple names of characters,
right,
as well as showed some people, but you don't know the impact of those people. Like you see Everett Ross in there for a brief sec. You saw him in Wakanda Forever. You've seen him in other things. He looks like he's either on the run or he's hiding behind like a wall. There's something going on around him. You see Emilia Clarke's character Gaia. Hope I pronounce that right, or Gia. I don't know, one of those two. Which is confirmed to be Talos, and his wife's kid, the young girl, the young Skrull from Captain Marvel. So she'd be maybe late 20s. Mid-20s from now. It's probably because Captain Marvel's in the 90s. Maybe she's 30-ish. I don't know.
You could tell me she's early 20s to mid 30s.
It's a Skrull. I don't know how they age.
Right, and I'll be like, oh, okay. I guess.
Yeah. You see, I don't know the name of the actor, but he's playing Gravik. He's the one that kind of had like the symbiote arm type thing.
Where people are saying it's Groot's thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not. It's just because it's similar animation.
Right. It could be like Super Skrull, Super Skrull can mimic some abilities and stuff. So if he's playing Super Skrull, then possibly. You see Olivia Colman's character. Don't know what she is she's good.
Gravik's the one that also is the room full of himself, right?
Right.
Like it's
a
bunch
where
of
Everett Ross, or no, Talos tries to like choke him out or something, and then everyone turns into Gravik. You see Olivia Colman's character. Don't know if she's bad or good, but I feel like she's bad. I don't know. And then you see James Earl Rhodes, which if you paid attention last week, that is exactly who we thought would be a Skrull.
Yeah. So we recorded it before we saw the trailer. Said it would be Rhodes.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in the trailer. It's like he's so a Skrull, man.
Yeah.
At what point is Nick Fury gonna figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't even know at this. Like, Rhodey doesn't even know, because like we talked about last week, how like if you've been that person for so long, as a Skrull, you forget about it.
Right.
You forget that you're actually that person. You just think you're that person. So I think Rhodey is one of those
situations. He's been
Everett
so
Ross.
Long.
Everett Ross could be too. Rhodey doesn't necessarily have like a significant other, you know what I mean? Whereas like Everett Ross has, like president of the CIA or whatever. So I feel like she might be able to like get on to that, you know what I mean? Like if he's been shot or something and he like bleeds green, I don't know how it works. But because Rhodey also had that, like Rhodey got shot by Vision and then like paralyzed, right? Like temporarily paralyzed until they did tests on him. I figured they would figure that out then. I don't know. No one knows. It's supposed to be a thriller, like crime detective thriller. So,
which from the trailer, it doesn't look like that to me.
Right.
From the trailer, it looks like
I think it looks like a thriller.
I think it looks about the same level as like Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Sure.
In terms of like thriller level, unless we get to see a little bit more that's about what level.
I hope they don't show anything else.
Right. But I mean, like in the show, unless it gets a little bit more intense or scary, it doesn't really feel like a thriller. It just feels like an action show, like a drama action show, just like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Sure. Except Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a antagonist that was just murdering people, but she was still a victim. So
yeah, but she was really good.
You're okay. They just murdered 43 people. She doesn't understand. You don't understand her.
Yeah, but otherwise from the trailer, I'm glad they didn't give away much. I like the fact that we still don't know what the whole movie's going to be about. Yeah. And I think the fact that they didn't tell us the details of Emilia Clarke's character is really nice.
Yeah.
Speculation's great and all, but I just don't want to know.
We all thought that she was going to be Abigail Brand.
Right.
Like we all thought she was going to be Abigail Brand. I think they're just going to like retcon Gaia or Gia into that Abigail Brand. Okay. That's kind of like what I think, and then just get rid of.
So I saw that Kobe Smulders was in it.
Yeah, Maria Hill. Right.
Maria Hill's back, and I thought that she's a good potential for a Skrull.
100%.
But I also was thinking similar, like, I feel like that's also a character. They like her. She likes being part of Marvel. She's good.
Right.
They could retcon her into something like that, where they maybe have to combine DNA to save her, and she becomes this character from the comics.
Sure.
She just seems like one. I thought similar. They might retcon her into something else.
Sure, and I mean, like you've seen Marvel do that in the past with like Sylvie, right? Like Sylvie was like Lady Loki mixed with Enchantress. So it's kind of like a mix of both. But I'm fine with it. Like I don't mind the like retconning of anything.
Yeah, me neither.
Out of all three trailers we've discussed today, what are you most excited for?
Blue Beetle.
Sure.
I think Secret Invasion, because the downside of not telling us much is also we don't know if we necessarily want to see it, and Marvel fatigue is a thing. Like
I don't know if I would pay money to go to the theater to see Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, Across the Spider-Verse,
that makes sense.
Surprisingly, is the one I'm least excited about of the three.
So like I'll go see Blue Beetle, and then I can sit in pajamas on my couch watching Secret Invasion. That's what I'm most excited for. Pajamas. I don't wear clothes.
Yeah, I would probably say the exact same thing. Most excited for Blue Beetle. If I had to pick one, which one am I willing to pay to go see? It'd be Blue Beetle.
Sure.
And then Secret Invasion, get to sit at home. Right. Across the Spider-Verse, I'll go see it. I'll wait. It's not one of those things because of the animation style. If you have a good TV at home, it's not like the size of the screen doesn't necessarily help the immersion of the movie.
Sure.
Seeing it on TV at home, if on it's like an HD TV, you still get to see the good quality of animation and not have to pay $13 for a hot dog.
We constantly get asked if this pizza is ours.
Every time.
Doesn't matter where we go. We'll be the only ones in the theater. We won't order anything. Is this yours?
Yeah. Well, when we went to the movie last time, I mentioned that they ask every time, and then they came and asked. I was like, oh, nice.
Next time we're just gonna be like,
yeah,
just take it.
Thanks. And then the person behind us be like, dude, like, what? Did you order two? Good call. Did you get? Oh wow, you got sausage as well. Sick.
Then someone will come in and sit right next to us and be like, this isn't right. This isn't right.
Love people, man, especially when they're driving. I like driving around with other people on the road. They're all great drivers, especially in parking lots. Let's go to drive to the theater and park there because people are wonderful.
Yeah.
You know who actually is wonderful besides you?
Our listeners.
Our listeners, especially like all these new listeners, even more people hitting that subscribe button.
Let's go.
People have got to slow down. They're going to break it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I see that subscriber number go up instead of down. It's really nice. It's
really,
when you don't have many to begin with, when you see it go down, it's
like
heartbreaking.
Friends.
Yeah.
It's like friends. You're never sure if they're going to stick around, but then when they do, it's just right here.
And they're sticking around to see us.
That's the most surprising
part.
That's
it's like, what are you doing? You could be watching paint dry. You could
probably like close their laptop or their thing so that it's like barely open, so they don't have to actually see us, but they can hear us.
Right, they have their phone on, but they flip it upside down. That's smart. I would do that too. When I watch us, I just turn it on mute. turn the lights down, turn the brightness up to 100,
and then you just ad-lib it.
and then I just, go to town. See, this is
funny.
what you come for. This is what you come for.
If we had like an after party podcast, it'd be just the best thing. A gag
Terrible.
reel.
Yeah, a gag
Except
reel.
we have no gag reflexes, so there wouldn't necessarily be a gag reel.
Yeah.
Just
Lots
a
of
reel.
practice with that. See, this is what all these people stick around subscribing and liking for, is so they can get quality content like this. But to those people that are watching that did stick around, you stuck through Secret Invasion for a second week in a row. You all look great today. G.
Don't wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. Have no regrets, yeah, I'm tired of my chest.